Hello, gorgeous humans. Alina Grayson coming to you live on my personal page on Facebook. When you're hopping on, say hello. If this is your first time listening to me, introduce yourself. Let me know where you're watching from. And of course, if you know me, I'd hope you say hello. Just going to make sure we are also live in my Facebook group, just because I realize some people I couldn't let in for some reason, but that's okay. We're going to pray to the internet gods today that everything goes smoothly, and we're going to have an amazing conversation around human design and chemistry and energetic hookups. And I'm so excited, I'm like wanting to come live for so long to talk about this stuff. So, all right, perfect. I'm live. Can everybody hear me? Can everybody see me well? Okay, so just so you guys know, we are going to also convert this to YouTube. We're going to put on my YouTube channel at Alina Grayson, and also put in the guide section with some cool homework. Okay, perfect. Let me see if I can see comments here on my computer. If not, that's okay. Can you guys hear me well? Hello, Deanna. Hello, Melissa. Hello, gorgeous humans. I'm going to turn down my phone here. Okay, perfect. We're live. Good morning, Deanna. Hi, beautiful. Hello, Tanya. Hello, Carlita. I'm so happy that you're here. So I'm going to be back and forth on my phone here because I see comments aren't working. Sometimes they work on my computer. It's amazing because I can see you guys pop up and I can answer things. But sometimes it doesn't. That's okay. We're going to trust. Yes, hear you. Great. Okay, thank you, Deanna. So welcome. This is a human design training, and this is open to anyone who desires to know a little bit more about human design, and really, truly, who here desires to live a happy, successful, ease-filled life, and really understanding ourselves and understanding people and bettering our relationship, because this is what human design can do for you. Hello, Mima. Hello, Monica. Hello, good morning. So if you are new to human design, don't be scared. I am just teaching some basic intro stuff, but it's going to be actually mind-blowing. And what I will say though, you can totally listen to this masterclass. If you want to have a little bit of a more intro to human design, I actually did a training 3 weeks ago in the Unconventional Success Codes Masterclass on day 4. It's on my YouTube channel, so you can just go to Alina Grayson and find it there. It's the last video that we just uploaded, and you guys can listen to an intro and really understand your energy type, because we're going to now start peeling back some more layers. And I'm so excited to talk to you guys about this, because have you ever wondered why we have such energetic connections to people, why sometimes people feel like so unsettling to us, why we click with some people, why do some people plant seeds, and why do we sometimes really struggle? And this is going to give you a lot of insight, and it's going to be amazing. Hello, Rebecca. Hello, Monica. If you do know your human design, let me know. Let me know how long you've been experimenting with it. Let me know your energetic type. Let me know your profile, your personality. Hello, Sherry. Hello, Crystal. Yes, so many people. And if you feel like somebody could listen to this, please share. What I wanted to share with you guys, every masterclass that I do, there is going to be a tuition draw. So I'm going to be picking 3 people to win 50% off towards any of my program bundles or any of my programs. And so tomorrow, you guys are going to see me drop the branding for the human design program. And I'm so freaking excited. It's next level. You guys are going to freaking love it. It is going to be just amazing. Melissa, 1-3, Monica, 5-1, emotional generator. Ooh, I can't wait to talk about the emotional solar plex. Okay. Rebecca, 6-3, sacral manager. Ooh, hello. I'm a 6-2 manifesting generator. Hello, Sophie. Hello, ladies. So let's dive in. Okay, so what I also did, and I'm going to maybe post this here in the comments right here for you guys. I actually posted, I guess I can't really post a picture for some reason when I'm live. I don't know why. If anybody else can go into the high performance coaching community and you can post the chart that I posted before this live, like an hour ago, and it's just labeling all the energy centers, because what we're going to talk about today is the energy centers. Again, if you want to listen to a more intro, go listen to energy types. I actually even have it timestamped, so you can go listen about a projector if you're a Mani-Gen, and it will give you a lot of awareness there too. Hello, Sophie. Hello, Danielle. So happy you guys are here. But if you have your chart, open it up. Okay. And if you also have the chart that I posted, it's completely blank and it just labels the head center, the sacral center. If anybody else wants to post that in the comments section here, that would be grateful. I don't know why I can't do that, but that's okay. I will post it after. We're going to talk about the energy centers today. Okay. And there are 9 energy centers in the human design system. and it does mimic the chakra, except we have 2 extra ones, okay? So I am a 6'2" profile, manifesting generator, role model hermit. My gift is to be authentic, to make things ease-filled. Okay, I am consciously compelled to lead others. I have a transpersonal purpose. So my purpose is fulfilled in interactions with people that after I shared my human design, I think 3 weeks ago, it's so cool to see people being like, oh my God, you're living your design. I actually was living my design before I knew my design. And then this just made this even more simplified for me. And it helped me really tap into my gifts, because human design, not only does it tell you your purpose, your gifts, where you struggle, where you're conditioned, it tells you so much. And I find it so extraordinary. Hello, Maria, Danielle, projector 1-4. Yeah, share me your types. Okay, so I'm going to make this as digestible as possible. So if you're new, trust me, you're going to really, really love this. Okay, this is going to be a really eye-opening conversation. And my intention for all of you is that you walk away going like, oh my God, this makes so much sense. Oh my God, I just had another brain orgasm. Oh my God, this is why I feel like this around this person. This is why I struggle with my partner. This is why I don't get my child. This is why I struggle in this area. It's going to be so full of ahas and lots of breakthroughs if you really sit back and just absorb what I'm about to say. If you have your chart though, follow your chart. And then later I'm going to ask you to go get your family's chart and your partner's chart, and things are going to make so much sense. Okay. It won't let me add the photo. Okay. So maybe I'll add it later. And we'll just have to do that later. Okay. Sorry, let me just see something. Edit post. See if I can do here. No, I can't do anything. Where do I find the chemistry design? Yeah, okay. So if you guys just go to Google right now and type in human design body graph centers and maybe add plus labels, it will show you. Like the first one is the head center. Then we have the ajna center. Just Google it, guys. Okay, let's figure it out. But otherwise I will post it later. I don't know why it's not letting me do that. Okay, so I'll have to post it later, but just Google human design centers with labels, okay? Because we're going to start talking about them. And if you can go get your human design, just go to mybodygraph.com, or again, Google free body graph and go put in your location, your birth, and your birth time, okay? And then if you can bring that to this is going to be really helpful and really help you guys understand what I'm talking about. Okay. Does everybody hear me well? Okay, perfect. So I'm going to just click on the comments here. Okay, we're getting started now. Okay. Hello, everybody. Hello, Avril. Yes, thank you, Avril, for posting that. Okay, perfect. So let's have fun. So there are 9 centers, okay? And these 9 centers explain a lot about our energy and how we have these energetic hookups with people, that we come into each other's auras. So if you look at the Human Design Center, there are 9 centers, there's 36 channels, there's 64 gates, and they all tell you about how you're supposed to operate, what your gifts are, what your purpose is, what your role is, and how to effortlessly navigate life, okay? But we're not going to go that deep into that. This is why I created the Human Design program. I really want to focus on the energy centers. And if you listen to this, it's going to start changing your life. Plus, watch Energy Types, the first intro video that I did. So just so you guys all know, and I'm sure you already know this, if you've been in my world, I talk about this all the time, but we're not just our bodies. We're not just a physical being. We're emotional, we're energetic, we are quantum. We do not just have a physical body. And there's all these energy centers that we don't even understand how they operate. But human design literally is like a user manual for you to live in your best life. It's like literally a blueprint of your multi-dimensional holographic quantum body. We're bigger than we can imagine. And so in your body graph, if you notice, you have 9 centers, and they're like the chakra centers. We have 2 extra ones in human design. And all of these centers that you have in your body, they're either white, undefined, or they are defined with a color. But all these centers, they influence other people's auras, or other people's definition influence us. So on the surface level as humans, we think that it's just our voice, our mouth, our eyes, and our facial expression that does the communication that we have with other people. But really, what's happening is these invisible centers, these energy centers, are actually doing the real work and pulling all these bio and energetic things that are happening. So your face looks like it's talking, but really what's happening is these invisible centers that you have are really doing all the talking and pulling you on energetic levels, depending on whose aura you're in. Hello, Karen. Hello, gorgeous. Right? So every space that you walk in where there is another human, you are interacting with them on an energetic level. You could be ordering a coffee at Starbucks, and then you have no idea why the person next to you either makes you feel so unsettled or so curious or really draws you in. And what's happening is these human design centers, they're affecting us on an energetic level that we can't even understand yet until you understand what's actually happening, which is what I'm going to explain here. Hello, Anastasia. Hello, gorgeous. So what I love about human design, and also about the draw, you can share the graphic, you can share this video or take pictures of this, tag me on social media. So Instagram, Alina Grayson Coaching, or anywhere on Facebook, and you will enter a draw to win 50% off towards a tuition that you can use towards any of my programs. And I have a lot of amazing programs. Okay, back to this. Let's resume. So if you look at your centers, some of you might have some white centers. And so these are open centers. This is where we're open to the influence of other people. And then other parts of your human design body graph, you see that you have these colors, right? They're defined with a color, depending on where you look up, right? But they're defined, there's a color. Undefined is completely white. And so if you have a lot of white centers, a lot of open centers, you are open to and susceptible to manipulation, to being swayed by other people, to being open to conditioning in that area by someone who's defined in that area. These centers are also connected to our organs. So the throat center is connected to the throat center, right? And so like the sacral center is connected to a reproductive center. And you will notice when you are very conditioned and not living your aligned strategy and authority, and you're being really conditioned by other people in an open center, you'll notice that you actually have some physical issues. And I'm going to talk about some of this stuff. Hello, Jennifer. Hello, Michelle. Deanna, I'm also 6'3". Yeah. Hello, gorgeous role models, right? So you have these 9 centers. So look, which ones are open and which ones are filled in. So the open centers, they are the places where we're conditioned the most, where we struggle the most. They are considered in human design the pain points, but they also have the most wisdom. So our open centers, again, they're white. They're kind of like filters. And depending on who is near us and who's in our aura, if they're defined in that center, we're taking in. And sometimes these filters, they get clogged, and there's pain and there's a lot of wounding there and there's a lot of conditioning, and we're operating completely out of alignment with who we're supposed to be. And then sometimes it does affect the organs that are attached to those centers. So I'm going to go through all of the centers, and at the end of it, or in between, I'm going to talk about what happens when you're open in an emotional solar plexus and you come in contact with someone who's defined, and what happens on an energetic chemistry level. And it's going to be so mind-blowing, and you're going to have so many of these. Share them with me too. Hi, Jennifer. Hello, gorgeous. So I know a lot of people, when you find out that you're more open than defined in your centers, you get a little upset because you know that you are susceptible to more conditioning and you're more malleable. But this is where a lot of your gifts also lie. So someone who has an open spleen is actually very open to mediums have this, and clairvoyants have this ability to catch energy and feel things. Someone who's open in like their head, for instance, or their ajna, sorry, is like a mind reader, right? So yes, there's duality in all the centers, but when you're open, you are more malleable. And this is really where we struggle the most. But again, there's wisdom. Okay. So there's always wisdom in everything. So what I want to teach you in this masterclass and in the human design program is to constantly become more conscious of where you're affected, where you are more malleable, where you are more susceptible to influence, and how to know when you're being influenced and what's yours and what's not. And so, especially when we talk about emotional solar plexus, like those of us who are defined, you guys your moods impact other people. You trigger moods in us. People who are undefined, we're supposed to be calm until someone that's defined comes into our aura. And sometimes we amplify it so much that we think there's something wrong with us, right? So this is going to give you so much awareness. And everything that I teach Take what you like, leave the rest, but be really open. I really do believe if you've landed on this live and you're having this conversation with me, there's a reason. Michelle says, I have an open head center. And when I'm in an aura field with someone with a fixed head center, my creativity and writing begins to flow. Yeah. And people who have a defined head center, they come and like plop little seeds into an open mind. And we're always answering questions. And you're going to see what happens when your partner's defined and when you're undefined and you sleep together. Sometimes you're up all night trying to answer questions. So lots of awareness. The whole point of this is let's become more aware where we're open, we're more susceptible to the influence of other people so that we know what's ours and what's not, and not to think that we are an emotion we're really not, right? So defined centers in human design, they do trump open centers, right? The definition in a person's chart can dominate and like manipulate the undefined centers in another person. And this is why these conversations are so important, because I talk a lot about us being swayed and a lot of us taking on things that are not ours. And I talk a lot about living an authentic life. And sometimes we don't know how to do that because someone's definition is really conditioning us, right? So when you look at your chart, hello, Mariola, hello, Chocha, hello, Deanna, excited for all this. This is going to be amazing. So we're just starting. And if you feel like somebody can listen to this, please share, okay? So when you look at your centers and you look at your body graph, you have the 9 centers, right? Look at the ones that are open, count how many you have open and see how many you have defined. In the open white centers, again, so this is where you don't have consistent energy. And this is where you're prone to the most conditioning of others that come into your aura that are defined in the areas that you're undefined. Does this make sense? Okay. This will make more sense as we go. Okay. This is really our undefined, our undefined centers. This is where our greatest wounds lie. Okay. And this is because we take in other people's energy here. And this is sometimes why if you have an open head, an open ajna, you're thinking things and thoughts that are not even yours. If you have an open emotional solar plexus, you're feeling emotions that are not yours. We take in other people's agendas. This is why conscious awareness is so important. And it's so important to be alone. And the hermit in me will remind you of that, to be alone and really know what's ours. What are our thoughts? What are our like actual patterns? And what have we taken in from other people that is not aligned with us? When we're not happy in life and we're struggling hard in life, a lot of this is because we are living out of this is really harsh, but a slave state. We are living out of the conditioning of our undefined centers, but we don't know that yet until we have this training today that's going to really blow your mind. So the definition of someone that's colored in their centers can really sway and manipulate and dominate the places where you're open unconsciously and consciously. And our goal is to become more and more conscious, because a lot of people who are very open feel very victimized by people who are defined, right? And so we don't want to be in victim mentality. We want to bring our personal power into this, and we just want to bring conscious awareness. Thank you for tagging, guys. Hello, Jade. Hello, Sherry. Hello, Phyllis. Okay. So we're going to do a lot of evaluating on our thoughts and our behaviors and our emotions to really see what's ours and what's not. Okay. Anywhere that you feel like you're being boggled down by other people's patterns is because you've taken in some other people's conditioning. So again, the open centers, while they have so much wisdom, which you'll learn about today, we do sometimes feel victimized by the definition of other people, right? But then we're going to always learn to be alone and really evaluate what's ours, what's not, what do we need to let go, what do we need to just bring awareness to and not take on as our own, okay? So we are more vulnerable to the open centers, okay? But again, lots of gifts, lots of power, and lots of wisdom reside here. Hello, Avery. Hello, Heather. Hello, gorgeous humans, okay? Human design is not meant to limit you. It is meant to free you and help you live a more authentic life. And as a 6-2, that's what I'm here to role model. The most authentic, ease-filled life, plus my cross is a transpersonal cross. I meet everybody of consequence, whether they're teaching me wisdom, I'm teaching you wisdom, but I'm here to role model an authentic life, ease-filled, right? So you're in the right spot, okay? So human design, it only came to the planet in 1987. And it is said that human design, this is why I feel like my sacral is so lit to talk about this, is that it's intended to come during this time as we see that there's a big awakening in our collective. This is supposed to help support us in our evolution right now. And humans, like since the beginning of time, we've all been conditioned to be the exact same, to do it the exact same way. And we're not. We're all unique. We all have different energy types. We all have different gifts. And it's time for all of us to step into our authentic selves so that we bring all the right puzzle pieces to humanity as we're evolving right now. The world is waking up. The collective is shifting, and human design came here for this exact time. And I believe this in my whole soul, and I get goosebumps when I talk about it. All of us are unique, and we are these perfect design puzzle pieces in humanity. And we need to bring our authenticity to the collective so that we all function well. So when you try to live somebody else's puzzle piece, this is why we suffer. We try to do it other people's way. Like people literally have heart issues because they don't have a defined heart, and they try to do things that they're not supposed to if you're a non-energy type. But every time you live somebody else's puzzle piece, it's humanity that loses out on your gift, right? So when I found out I was a 6/2 manifesting generator, oh my God, everything made so much sense. It made sense why I can't sit and do one thing, why I have a squirrel brain, but I'm meant to like master so many things. When I found out that I've always knew consciously I was a role model, and that's why I feel like I hold a lot of high standards, but the understanding that I was a hermit, thank God, because my parents used to think that I maybe was like, they had issues because I was wanting to be alone. But yet when I came out of the world, everybody loved me, the role model, right? I pull people to me, but the hermit in me makes you feel like, oh my God, is there something wrong with me? Because I don't want to be social all the time. I need a lot of alone time. It's part of me cultivating my gifts. And then the more alone I am, the more people pull me out, right? So also, if you have a 3 or a 6 line in your profile, there is a lot of trial and error. So I struggled a lot for the first 31 years. And then human design came into my life, which is kind of wild. When I started going on the roof, you'll understand more of this, but I lived so much trial and error. I can't tell you how many educations I've had, different relationships. I've worked in all kinds of industries, all kinds of people. That was the 6 line. Now I'm on the roof observing other people. If you have a 3 or 6 line, there is struggle, but it's meant for you to go through that so that you learn, right? Some of you have 1 lines, you investigate, you research. The 3 lines, the 6 lines, we go into the fire. We're the phoenix of the fire. That's why we grow and evolve, right? I've also been told I've been an old soul since I was little, and it just all makes sense, right? And I can't wait to get into profiles with you guys because there's a number that you have in your human design, and it tells you so much about your personality, and it gives you a sense of sigh and relief. And I love that. Hello, Danielle, Tanya, Rebecca, haha, right? It let me embrace being a multi-passionate person. Yeah, many gens. Hello, Kelly. Hello, Rebecca. So all of you who have been human design, share with other people your experience in the comments. Let people know how much it has changed your life, because it really has this ability to change your life. And finally, you get to, once you understand yourself, that's the only way that we understand people, right? So I love that I'm bringing this into my coaching business now, because this helps so much with my clients. So I am a multi-passionate human. I'm here to do multiple things at the same time, or I get bored. I'm a hermit. I have a transpersonal cross. I'm here to help people not go on the wrong path. My cross is the left cross of prevention, but we're not going to go into that. Let's literally dive, because now I'm chit-chatting, because I could just go on and on. I could talk about this stuff for like days and days. And I'm sure if you're into human design, you're like, me too. I felt victimized as a 6/3 initially, Karen says, right? The trial and error. Yes, the phoenix. We learn through the fire, right? So it's okay. It's okay. It's okay. So let's talk about the energy within first, right? Maybe I'll do another masterclass later on profiles, but I will be deepening that in the human design program. This is going to be a big program, and it's going to cover all this stuff. So if you look at your body graph, the first center is the head center, the crown center. Okay. So let me know in the comments whose head center, so that's the first shape that you have on the body graph, who here is an open head. We'll start with open head, and then we'll talk about defined head. Okay, so let me know. Projector Hermit here, lots of open centers. Yes, yes. I've been researching for projector for a month, many emotional breakthroughs. Yes, I'm so excited. Okay, so Monica says open. I am also open. Okay, so if your center at the top, the head center is open, it's just white. This is, first of all, the center of inspiration. It is also correlated with the pineal gland. Okay, so let me know if you're open, I am me, Kelly, Deanna, Maria, open. Okay, cool. And then I'll talk about defined, right? So when you are an open head, so again, remember when things are open, they don't have consistent energy. Defined centers have consistent energy, okay? So when you're open, you don't have consistent energy and inspiration to receive inspiration in a consistent way, right? So we come across inspiration when we go out into the world or whatever we click on, right? Or whatever book that we're reading, right? So as open heads, we don't have a consistent way of receiving inspiration, but our issue is that every time we walk into the real world or we're doing something, reading, opening up social media, we are flooded with inspiration. Sometimes this is our issue, is that we feel very, very inspired, right? The head center is also a pressure center, right? So we always feel like we're pressured to act on all our inspired ideas. People, mostly defined head centers, sometimes judge us open head centers as if we are just all over the place. And often defined head centers will tell people like us, the undefined head centers, that we need to just pick one thing and stick to it, and that's it. And that's just not how we operate. So could you imagine if you have an open head center child and you're a defined head center parent telling your kid, you need to pick one thing and stick to it. And they're like, I can't, because that's not how I'm designed, right? So again, this is going to give us a lot of compassion and love and patience for our people. Our relationships are everything. Yes. So yes, in your chart, it's the white. So everybody who here sees people commenting here, Alexandra's open, and people are asking questions. If you know about human design, network this way, help people out, okay? Because once I start riffing, sometimes I'm missing comments, but I love you and I'll catch up with you after, okay? So we do feel a lot of pressure, right? And so when we go into the aura of someone who has a defined head center, we also feel they plant a little seeds in us, especially if they have a defined ajna too, which you would if you have a defined head. But we have this pressure as an open head to want to always answer their questions, consciously or unconsciously. And we can get easily swayed by other people's ideas. So I have two teenagers I have two kids, Rhea and Noah. Teenager and my youngest are defined heads and defined ajnas with the gate of answers. And so they are always asking questions. And every time they come into my aura, I will be working on something like content, and all of a sudden I'm thinking about something else. And so it's so interesting that this happens, and we want to become really aware of this. This is why I like when my kids are at school when I'm working, so that I can be doing my thing and not have other people planting seeds in my head. Okay, okay, thank you. Mine is not white. Okay, so you're defined, you're defined, right? So here's the crazy thing about an open head. So tell me if you're an open head, have you ever had this phenomenon happen where, let's say you were going to go to a restaurant and you wanted to for sure get tacos. You wanted to get fish tacos. You're like, I'm getting fish tacos. But then you get into the restaurant and you sit there, and the auras of other defined head centers all of a sudden give you an inspired idea to order something else. And then so you order this other thing, and then later during their dinner, you're always like, why did I order this? I wanted my fish tacos. Why am I eating this right now? I came here for fish tacos. It's because the people that were in, maybe your partner, whoever you're on a date with, defined heads, decided to give you some other inspired ideas. And so then you ordered something else, and then you're wondering why you ordered this when you wanted the fish tacos. This is what happens. We can go into spaces and our head floods with other people's food inspirations. And then you end up ordering things you didn't really originally want. Let me know if you have experienced this. Yes, yes, yes. Oh my God, yes, Deanna, all the time. Heather says all the time. Alexandra says, LOL. Yes, this is what happens, okay? And if you have little defined children, yeah, they do that to you too. So again, what happened here is the undefined head took in the defined head's inspiration. And if you're not aware of this and you're not practicing your human design authority and strategy, we will constantly be living out other people's ideas. This is why it's so important. Okay, so who here has a defined head? So the first center on top of your head is colored in. Who here has defined? Thank you for tagging, guys. We need to be aware of what is flooding in. Absolutely, right? Absolutely. Like, this is the craziest phenomenon is if your partner is defined, and you're undefined head center and you are sleeping together, let me know if you've had this experience where you can't stop thinking things and your mind is constantly trying to answer questions. They're not even your ideas. It's your defined head's partner is planting seeds and you're answering them. It's like, it's crazy what happens, right? So sometimes you need to sleep in different rooms. Yeah, we're gonna have a big conversation about that when we talk about the sacral too. So who's defined? Me, Heather, me, Avery, I'm defined. Okay. So if you are defined, so again, the top is completely colored in, you are inspirational forces on the planet. You guys are walking, talking, radiating inspiration into the world all the time. So again, because you're defined, so defined is this consistent energy. When you're a defined head, you're consistently sources of inspiration. And you guys are always asking questions, okay? So again, my youngest, Rhea, who's also on 1-3, so she's here all about the investigating in the trial error, she's always asking so many questions. So we always used to call the little investigator before I even found out what she was, right? So Rhea is always coming into my auras or Adam aura, because Adam is also undefined, and we are just always answering questions. Same thing with Noah. Like anytime we hang out with Noah, it's like I just focus on his stuff and I'm answering his questions. They're so funny to watch undefined heads, is that like they're always questioning things too. And they always look like they have this quizzical look on their face too, right? And sometimes I remember Adam always giving like shit to Noah, sometimes like being like, why are you looking at me like that? Why are you like questioning what I'm saying? And he's not. It's just naturally, their head is just full of so much inspiration. They're constantly asking questions, and they do love sharing their insight everywhere they go. My mind always wants to know how of everything. So curious. And Avery, you're a 1-3. Isn't this so wild? That's why I love that you guys share this stuff, because there's just so much freedom in this. And you're like, oh, okay, this is why I am this way. This is why my child is this way. And it's so amazing, right? So when a defined head center enters the aura of a person who is undefined, the defined head center will deposit a question in the undefined mind. And then the undefined mind, so someone like myself will pick it up, amplify it, and then I will spend most of my day pondering a question that is not even mine in the first place, right? And defined heads, they tend to get frustrated too with people who are open head like us, because we don't always know what we want, because we don't have this consistent energy. We don't know what we want. And so especially if you don't know that you're a generator type, like when people are asking you, like, where do you want to go to eat? Like, I don't know. My head is open. Give me some suggestion. Ask me a yes or no question. This will help me. Okay. So defined heads do get frustrated with open heads, because yeah, we don't know. You gotta give us some specific ideas so that we can answer according to our strategy and authority as well. Yeah. My son is a 1-3 also. All the questions. Chris says, Chris is always saying, gosh, you have so many questions. Yes, Kelly, see, you got to check. So later on, I want you guys to focus on your chart today, but later on, what I'm going to ask you to do is grab your partner's chart, especially people that are the closest to you, so that you understand how you guys are affecting each other's energy, right? Because sometimes, like for myself, like I'm a creative, right? I got to come up here. I got to come up here live right now and speak. But if I had my little defined heads home right now, I probably start pondering their random questions instead of really focusing on what I want to do here. So it really helps to understand ourselves better. Okay. So let's talk about the ajna center. So that is located right below the head center. And this is your mind. It's the cognitive awareness center. Okay. This is where we process everything that got planted into our head center, right? So this is where we process the ideas, the questions, the concepts, the details, the answers. Okay. This is where this happens in the ajna center, aka also known as the mind center. This is the part of us that reasons and conceptualizes things. Okay. The things that were plopped into our head. So the inspiration that comes through the head in the mind is where we conceptualize it and reason with it and try to form different like ideas. So let me know who here live and hashtag replay, who has, let's start with open, who has an open ajna center. So again, that's the center right below your head. Who here is open? Let me know. So I have an open head and I have an open ajna center. Okay. Literally for you open heads and open ajna center, like you are so open-minded. Okay. We do not have a fixed way of thinking about things. I have an open ajna center. I don't just adopt one belief. I'm very open to all kinds of ideas and ways of thinking from all kinds of sources. People with open ajna center, they're very, very fair. We're not fixed on the way that we think about things. We're very open from all kinds of sources. So who here is open? I am, yeah, Sherry, me, Kelly, me, open ajna center, now me. Okay, awesome, right? So here's something really cool. So like, you know how I said that, yes, when you're open, you're more susceptible to being swayed and manipulated, but there's so many gifts in an open center. So when you have an open mind, an open ajna center, one of the gifts that comes with this open center is that we're actually mind readers. We're mind readers. How freaking cool is that? So where people with the defined ajna centers get frustrated with us undefined is that they always tell us we got to make up our mind and we got to stick to things, but we're not fixed in the way that we process and think about things. We are literally here to be wise about all kinds of different ideas and all kinds of belief system, but we're not necessarily here to adopt them, right? And this is because all the information that we're getting through our mind and, like is completely second-handed, right? It doesn't come from us. It's second-handed. So it feels uncomfortable for us when people who are defined with the defined mind tell us, think like me, but I can't think like me. I remember people with ajna centers telling me this. And I'm like, I can't think like you. Okay. They're just not the way I'm designed. Right. So who here also, so who has it here defined ajna? Let me know. Makes sense. What does it mean if two circles are open and one circle is fixed? So I'm not going to talk about the gates, but here's what we're going to be doing in the human design program. When I go through the centers again, I'm going to talk about the gates. And so if your gate, the number is defined, and if there's a channel, we're also going to talk about what happens when you come in contact with people and how there's so much to this. And I don't want to get into the complicated stuff. But for instance, like the spleen, like if you have certain activated fears, this is why you have certain fears about the future, if you have that gate, right? But we're not going to go into that. We got to start with like the basics, right? So my first training was just on the energy types. There's 5 of them. And then this is about really understanding what does it mean when my head is open and when my head is defined. And we're just going to talk about this. Don't get focused on the gates, one thing at a time. In my human design program, if you're interested, I'm going to be launching that tomorrow. We're going to go through all of it. We're going to easily digest and peel back all the layers because there's a lot to this. It does look overwhelming, human design, but the way I'm going to break it down is going to be like, I get it. This is amazing. Let's do this. Okay. So undefined ajnas. Okay. We are mind readers. We really are. If you sit with someone who's a defined ajna, you're picking up their thoughts, which is so freaking cool. And if you're a coach, this is really helpful as well. Okay. But we are not here to necessarily adopt a certain way to think about something, okay? If we do adopt some beliefs, okay? So I have certain beliefs that I've adopted. The beliefs that an undefined ajna center will actually adopt is the one that they have found by living their correct strategy and authority. So again, you got to go and learn about your strategy and authority and your energy type. And again, that's located on my YouTube channel, or if you go on my Facebook group, you'll find it there too. Okay. It's like an intro to that. But if you find a belief system that works for you as an undefined ajna, it's because you're living through your correct strategy and authority. For like, I've learned so many beliefs and I have so many ways to think about things. The things that I'm like obsessed with, and you guys know if you've been with me for almost 4.5 years, what do I talk about a lot? It's the energetics, it's the manifestation. Why? Because my sacral gets lit up around any of those conversations. And it gets lit up because also whenever I apply anything in manifesting or energetics, I get the evidence that this stuff works. Manifesting works. I believe in that wholeheartedly for the rest of my life because I have evidence. My sacral gets lit up. I live correctly through my strategy and authority. And so that's why I've adopted that belief. But open ajnas, we're not necessarily here to adopt belief system unless it aligns with your correct strategy and authority. Okay. But we are here to constantly think about things differently and take on different beliefs. We love to explore different things, right? People with an undefined ajna center, we tend to sometimes struggle taking action because things come to us secondhand. This is where we sometimes struggle with feeling certain. So again, you got to learn your authority and strategy, because this is where people procrastinate and they just sit on all these ideas, and because they just don't feel certain. You're never going to feel completely certain with an open ajna. But if you learn to follow your authority and your strategy, you will have that certainty to move into action. Manifesting works for sure. Yes, it does. Wait, do define or open ajna centers read minds? Open, 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 open. Okay. They are inconsistent in the way that they think about things. Okay. So if you have an open ajna, an open mind, you do struggle feeling confident in your decisions. So we want to follow our authority and strategy. And some affirmations that might help is like, I am wise about beliefs and I see different ideas and sides of issues. It's my gift. I am a great mind reader. Okay. I don't have to make up my mind. But what I also would suggest, if you have an open mind, is write things down. If you guys notice, I've always have a notebook, or I'm always drifting into my phone, because I get ideas because I'm out in the real world, but I will forget them. So open heads, open ajnas, we do forget things. Write things down, okay? Because inspiration will come, and if you don't write it down, it will leave, okay? Writing things down, journaling really helps our undefined ajna to be successful. This is me, Jennifer says. Okay, so tell me in the comments who here has a defined ajna center, who is defined in their mind. So a defined mind, a defined ajna center, is meant to hold information and is very fixed in the way that it thinks. Also, the way it thinks has a lot to do with the gates, but we're going to deepen that in the human design program. But just know that if you're defined in your ajna, you have a fixed way of thinking about things. You do hold information, okay? You have a consistent and reliable way to process information and to really make sense of the world. The way that I look at a defined ajna, it's like a computer. You're forever comparing and reviewing and researching information. A lot of troubleshooters have a defined ajna center. I'm defined, Heather says, defined, Monica, LOL. Alexandra, I am, Melissa, defined, makes the struggle make sense. Yes, right? So what can happen with a defined mind, a defined ajna, is for those of you who are defined, you might find that you're a bit of a warrior. You guys can be warriors. Sometimes you also look for problems that don't exist. And I'm sure if you probably are around people who are undefined, they probably told you things like, stop worrying so much. Why are you worrying about things that haven't happened yet? Okay. This is the defined mind. The defined ajna, you can't turn your mind off, and you can't turn off the worries. So something that's important for a defined mind is that also that you guys need to understand is that it's a terrible way to make decisions. We really need to use our strategy and authority and do it through our body. Okay. Decisions should never come from the mind. Okay. So just remember that. And remember that even though you have a fixed way to think about things, there are a lot of ways to think about things. Okay. So what happens when a defined ajna and an undefined ajna hook up and when they get in each other's auras? The undefined ajna can think the thoughts of the defined ajna are theirs. This is where a lot of conditioning happens. Okay, this is why awareness is so important. When you already know that you have an undefined ajna, the thoughts that you're thinking when you're in the presence of other auras, they're not yours. Okay, and undefined ajnas, like we feel pressure by defined ajna people to think in a consistent way. And so if you have a partner that's defined, you might see they get frustrated. Why don't you just think this way? Think like me. We cannot, okay? So start to bring awareness, okay? Start to bring awareness around this. If your mind is undefined and you've just been out in the world or you're around somebody and you're having these weird thoughts, they're not yours. You are taking in the defined ajna's thoughts, okay? And really look at your kids' charts. This is really, really helpful, okay? Because people plop thoughts in our minds. And this is why we get stuck on things that are like, where did this come from? It did not come from you, okay? If you be open. Sounds about right. This is gold. I'm so happy you guys are loving this. I have the channel of awareness, constantly searching for truth. Yeah. So this is just like the surface level. Like when we get into the gates and the channels, because gates and channels also hook up with people, and in a good way too. This is why some coaches are really good for certain clients and vice versa, because our channels hook up and our gates hooked up and more gifts come out. It's so cool, this stuff. Okay. So let's focus. Okay. So I'm going to keep talking about this. Awareness, awareness, awareness. If you've been in self-development, you know, awareness is the key to all transformation. Okay. And the way that we decondition the unauthentic ways that we've been living and people's thoughts and patterns and emotions, constantly awareness. Awareness, what's mine, evaluating and taking time for ourselves. The hermit in me, 2 lines, we remind people how important it is to be alone and to really evaluate and bring awareness. Where did I pick up things? Where am I living not my design? Where don't I not feel good? Thank you for tagging people. Okay, so let's move into the throat center. Okay, so that's like, so you got the head, the ajna, and then the throat. So it's literally located near the throat center. It's right below the ajna is the throat center. So the throat center represents the thyroid and the parathyroid, and it's connected to your metabolism. And I know so many people who don't live their correct strategy and authority, who have a lot of thyroid issues and a lot of like issues losing weight. It's so connected to you not living your correct strategy, and where there could be a lot of conditioning. Okay. So human design is so wild that like, if you're having health issues, if we start living our correct strategy and authority and understanding and being aware of our, like where we're malleable, like your health can improve. I'm going to talk about ADD in here too. And like, y'all know, if you've been following me for a long time, I don't even like taking a Tylenol. Okay. Let's stay away from pharma. Let's start understanding our energy and get around people that help us live the most authentic life, and we can get off all the pharma crap. Okay. Sorry. I love you all. I want you all to be living your authentic design so that we're all happy. So this is called, so the throat center is connected to the thyroid and parathyroid. Okay. So this is the center for communication and expression. And it's also the center of manifestation through action. It is through this center, the throat center, that manifestation and transformation can take place. Okay. So again, this is a surface level training. We're not going to get deep into the gates and all the things, but your gates and your channels are also going to show you how you're meant to manifest and really express yourself, depending on what's activated. Okay. So this is where we express ourselves. This is where we manifest. So let's start again with open. Who here is open in their throat center? And let me know if you're open. So again, it's white. Do you feel like you always have the pressure to speak? Do you feel like you're always under pressure to speak? Have you ever had the phenomena happening where you just blurt things out uncontrollably? This tells you a lot that you are undefined. Undefined throat centers always have a pressure to speak, and they blurt things out uncontrollably. And if they're not living their correct strategy and authority to respond, to be invited to speak, you're the ones that lose your voice. You're the ones that have throat problems. Like a lot of issues happen here if you're not living your correct strategy and authority. So the more I heal my throat chakra, the more my weight returns to normal. See, and it is connected to the chakras. This is why it's so cool. Jennifer says yes. Kendra says yes. My throat is defined. Me, I can't tell. Okay, so Maria, it's going to be white. I'm going to start with undefined first. Okay, so if your throat center is undefined, it's white. You most likely always feel like you're under pressure to speak. You have struggled with, I just can't find the right words. Undefined throat centers, like you guys struggle with expressing yourself effectively and consistently because again, you're open. You don't have that consistent energy unless you get into the aura of someone who has a defined throat center. Okay. There's so many gifts in the throat center. We're not going to cover that here. Again, if you're interested in this, human design program is going to be launching tomorrow, and you guys will get the information when that's starting, but we're going to cover all of that in depth. Okay. But open throat centers, there's so much wisdom. You guys are great at foreign languages. You guys can really mimic people. Okay. So a suggestion for throat centers, learn your strategy and authority. Most of you, all of you, if you're undefined, you're definitely not a manifestor or a manifesting generator. So you can't just speak. If you're undefined, you have to wait. So you're either being invited to talk or you're responding to something that someone's asking you to talk. If you just speak, this is where you hurt your thyroid, your metabolism. This is where you lose your voice, right? So you will notice though, the moment that you're in the aura of someone who has a defined center, you're like, beep, 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 beep. Like you just want to talk, okay? And if you're not like responding and invited to talk and following your correct strategy, like literally you guys just talk and the person with a defined throat can't even get a word in. They never feel like they're recognized. You need to follow your strategy. If you're undefined, I know you feel the pressure to talk, but don't talk unless someone asks you something or someone invites you. When you're just silent, your aura does all the talking. People will want to ask you. Only manifestors and manifesting generators have a defined throat center and we can just talk. I'm a manifesting generator. I can just talk. Okay. So for some affirmations for you undefined throat centers, I want you to say this to yourself. My words and voice is best heard when I am invited to speak. If you do it correctly like this, you're not going to have any issues with your thyroid. Okay, hello, right? So tell me here, who has a defined throat center? So again, you're most likely a manifesting generator or a manifester. So also like defined throat centers, like we are here just to talk. You are consistent in how you communicate and how you express yourself, okay? And depending on where your throat center is connected to. So like if your throat center is connected to your ajna is defined and you can just speak your mind. If your throat center is connected to your emotional solar plexus, you can effectively communicate your emotions, right? So we're going to deepen this in the human design program, okay? But I'm going to share a phenomenon about how much this is so true. So if you're a defined throat center, I'm a defined throat center. Have you ever experienced this? Okay. I mean, Adam talk about this all the time. Adam is a projector, but he has a defined throat center and like him and I always talk about how crazy this happens. But so we come into a space with someone who's undefined. So all of a sudden, my definition makes them want to talk, even if I don't ask them a single thing. This is why people need to learn their correct strategy and authority, because you'll just talk and talk and talk. So when I come into the presence of someone who has an undefined throat, I activate their need to talk to me. I also have the gate of listening. So that's like an extra layer of this, right? But like people who you don't invite to talk will just talk your ear off. They don't care if you have to go. The other day, I was cashing out and this person, I could already tell they're undefined, just starts talking and talking and talking. I'm literally like walking. I'm like, I have to go. And they just keep talking. They're like, beep, 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 beep. They will talk your ear off. Okay. They're the type of people because they don't understand their strategy and authority. You could have headphones in and they will still want to talk to you. Like they just talk your ear off. So I can always tell, and Adam's like, oh my God, this makes so much sense. Like anytime that I'm in the presence of someone undefined and I have the gate of listeners, so it just activates people to want to talk to me, you cannot get away. Mine is connected to my spleen center. Awesome. So we'll go deeper into that in the program. I have the gate too. That makes sense. People always tell me, yeah, out of nowhere, right? They'll just completely unload all their stuff, right? So this is why if you have an undefined throat center, notice that you do this. Like, I know you guys feel the pressure to talk, but don't talk unless someone invites you to talk or you're responding to something, right? So if you're a projector with a defined throat, wait to be invited, right? If you're a generator, wait to be responding to something. Otherwise, you're the people that just talk people's ear off and then your throat hurts and then you have no voice, okay? And so defined throat centers notice when this starts to happen and bring awareness to people that are undefined. Hey, like, I gotta go, dude. Can't just sit here listen to you all day long, okay? So this is a gift, okay? But we also need to know that like we just need to follow our strategy. Otherwise, we become little chatterboxes. Okay. So clients and people who are undefined in their throat, you do tend to struggle with expressing yourself. So what's important is that you hook up with the aura of someone that is defined. If two couples are undefined and they have a hard time speaking to each other, like you guys can go to a restaurant and hook up with other energies, and then you guys will activate and be defined and speak to each other more correctly. If you're having issues communicating, like you actually have to go out and hook up with people's auras that are defined. Yep, I speak my mind, insights and inspiration a lot. Mine is connected to my spleen. Okay, projector. Yep, projectors have defined throats too. Adam has a defined throat. But they have to be invited to speak. Okay, so that's the difference. Manifestors and manifesting generators can just speak, they can just initiate, right? But manifesting generators also still need to respond to something and then they can speak. But I can just get an idea out of nowhere and just come out here and go live and just speak, okay? So there's a big difference. We're going to talk more about this in the human design program, okay? With a defined throat. So Kristen, you have to be invited, be recognized, then be invited to speak. And that's how you know you're correctly utilizing your throat center and not getting into any issues with your thyroid. Okay, does this make sense? Again, go watch the first training on energy types and your strategy and authority. This will make more sense. Okay, so let's talk about the identity center. This is a really cool center, the G center. Okay, so again, look at your chart. It should be like the big diamond, right? Right below the throat center. Okay, so who here is defined and who's undefined? Maybe we'll start with undefined. So first, a little recap. The G center, the identity center, it's very important. This is the center of self-love, our purpose, our sense of direction in life, okay? The organ that is attached to this center is the liver. This center is the area where we find out that question that we ask ourselves. Who am I? Okay. And this center is connected to the soul. So we'll start with the open G center. Who here is undefined in their identity center? Let me know. Okay, lots of defined. We'll start with undefined. Okay. Who is open in their G center? So you guys are social chameleons. Open G centers, open identity centers, you guys are social chameleons. Your slogan for life is, I am who I am, depends on who I am with right now in the moment. So the struggle with an open identity center is that you guys struggle finding a sense of identity. You guys are the social chameleons, which is a gift. You have a compassion and have a huge understanding of different people's perspectives and personalities. The issue is that you don't always feel secure in who you are because you can be all things to all people depending on who you're with and who's in your aura. Your gift with an open identity center is to reflect back to people who they are. But this gives you so much compassion and insight because you identify with everybody that you're with. You gain a lot of insight into people's perspectives. You are literally a social chameleon. You're the type of people that would have a party and there would be the drug dealer and the doctor and the judge and the lawyer. You guys are friends with all kinds of people. Okay. So I have two children with open identity centers. Rhea, my youngest, she is an open identity center. And then my eldest, Stella, my teenager, she has an open G center. And they have friends with all kinds of people. I can't wait for you guys to look at your kids and you're gonna be like, oh my God, this is why when she hangs out with this person, her hair is purple, right? So like even Stella, like when we laugh about this, my teenagers love this stuff so much. Even their friends love this stuff. Adam loves this stuff because it's so freaking accurate, human design. And so I always laugh with Stella because she has changed her hair multiple times. And it's just like, oh, who are you hanging out with now? Well, I'm hanging out with this girl. I'm dyeing my hair black, right? And then she was blonde for the summer because she was hanging out with her friend Evan, who was a blonde, right? They just get swayed, and she knows she's a social chameleon. right? So look at your kids who has an open identity center. Every time you're with your child who has an open identity center, they take on so much of your personality and perspective. Like when I sit with Stella, we just talk about psychology and behaviors, energetics and manifestation. She's like so into it. She's taking on my perspective and my identity because she's in my aura. Just so wild. Mine is defined, and yet I feel like you are describing me. Interesting. Could be something to do with some gates and channels. So this is why we got to go deeper into human design. Okay. Oh my God, this is all true. All right, Mariola, are you open? But it's so freaking wild. My dad had an open identity center too, and it made so much sense. So the parents really, I would recommend, especially for this part, check your kids that are open, because I will tell you, the children, especially as they become teenagers, children and teenagers with open identity center, they fall into a lot of peer pressure. They can be victims of a lot of peer pressure if they hang out with the wrong crowds. And I have watched this even happen with my 5-year-old Rael already, with our neighborhood kids, because she hangs out with all of these kids. Like there's just so many random groups of people. Her personality is always shifting. It's so wild to watch and so cool, right? And then I know for Stella, like, you know, she has also struggled sometimes. She's like, I don't sometimes know where I fit in. And, you know, now we know that she's a social chameleon, and we, you know, we're working on all the stuff here. She's just like, okay, she's accepting who she is. And she knows that who I am is where I am and who I'm with now, right? But you want to check in with your teenagers and your children, because they're the ones that are most susceptible to peer pressure. Okay, so we definitely want those kids hanging out with the right groups of people and not going down the wrong path. Yes, I am. Haha. Of course. Oh my God. Okay, so for you open G centers, identity centers, what's so important is that you guys are in the right place with the right people, especially people who are empowered. It is so crucial for your purpose and where you're going in life, and for you to feel really good. Really, like, you got to be really wary about who you're with and what kind of conditioning that you're taking on from a defined identity center that comes into your aura. What can happen is if you're around someone who's defined and they are very disempowered, they can lead you on the wrong path. So it's so important that you do follow your strategy and authority, and that you really do only take advice from people that you really respect, that you like their path in life, and like you would 100% change lives with them, that like really, you know, that they're empowered and that you respect. If you take the advice of someone that's disempowered with a defined G center, it will lead you to so many wrong paths, wrong opportunities, or sometimes you literally don't even get any opportunities. Something that I would suggest for you open identity centers is stick to people who feel good, people who are empowered, right? And this is something I've had a lot of conversations with Stella, and she's like, oh my God, it makes sense. Every time I take advice from somebody that is disempowered, I end up in the wrong path, in the wrong group, right? Thankfully, me and Adam are very, very wise. So she comes to us with a lot of things, and we're very, very empowered, right? So we're going to help direct her. Same with Rhea, right? She's still 5 years old, but she's a little social chameleon. I already seen her fall into peer pressure, right? So just bring awareness. So something else to notice if you are an open identity center, a lot of you guys do sometimes struggle with self-esteem and self-love, because you are aware that who I'm with, I change my moods and my personality. And so because I'm shifting when I'm with someone, the way that I receive love is different wherever I am. And so because you're aware that you receive love in different ways from different people, it makes you think that you can only be loved to be a certain way. And this is where we sometimes struggle with self-esteem and self-love. But you got to now know, no, it's just who I am. I'm a social chameleon, right? I'm loved for who I am. And yeah, I do shift identities, but that's part of my wisdom. You guys really understand people's personalities and perspectives because you're such a social chameleon. It's your gift, and you have a lot of compassion for people. But don't think people don't love you or you're not lovable because you're shifting. It's just because you're aware of, like, I receive it in different ways depending on who I'm with, okay? So remind your children of this too. This is something I've worked on with Stella too. And I totally got her okay to talk about this. I love that she's so open to this. And even like Noah, like there's cool teenagers, all of their teenager friends love this stuff. Like this makes more sense. I'm like, I know. Don't you wish that we taught this in school? Maybe one day, who knows? Let's do that. That's why I want you guys to share this video and start really living and experimenting with this, because you're going to be like, holy crap. There's a reason God, universe, source sent this down during this time. We need human design. Okay. So let's talk about defined identity centers. Who is defined? Who has a defined G center? So your slogan is this: I'm defined in my identity. I know who I am. I know where I'm going, and I have a strong direction for where I'm going in life. I don't need to know how, but I know where I'm going and I know who I am. Okay. This is the defined identity center. So, is this me? Yes. Sherry, me, Avery, I do. That's me. Yes. So you know who you are, and you do have a strong direction with where you're going in your life. You don't have to be preoccupied with the how, but you know where you're going, right? So our sense of ourself is very, very solid. So what, I'm not even gonna like go deep into this, but what happens when an undefined and defined center hook up, when we get into the auras of each other, the open identity center will take in the defined identity center's self and it will amplify it. When you have awareness that you're open, now you can understand why you're experiencing this person's personality, and then you can appreciate who they are. And if you don't feel good in it, then it just means that that person's the wrong person to be around with. But it doesn't mean it's who you are. Remember this. In romantic relationships, it is important to look at if your partner's, and I like a defined identity center, because the person in the relationship that is defined is the one that's going to lead more of the direction of the relationship if the other person's undefined. So if you're open and you don't know this, sometimes you can get lost in partners. This is why sometimes we see a couple always chasing the other person's dream and going where they're going and following the direction. And when they're not living their correct strategy and authority, they could be living in somebody else's identity their whole life instead of who they really are. So in relationships, it's so important that you follow your strategy and authority. Alexandra, define. Hello, Sophie. Hello. Okay. And then we're going to talk more about like the different gates in the human design program. Okay. So let's talk about the heart center, the will center. That's like the small little triangle to the right side. Okay. So it statistically is really rare if you have a defined heart center. The heart center is the will center. This is willpower. And this is why now in personal development, you guys understand that not everybody has willpower. Actually, a small percentage of the planet has willpower. Willpower, the heart center, it's the energy to get things done, even when the going gets tough. It doesn't mean if you're undefined, you don't get stuff done, but you just don't have that willpower that it's like, no matter what, if I say I'm going to do this, it's happening. No matter how hard it is, I'm doing it. This is a powerful motor. It's the will, it's the ego. It drives our ability forth on the material plane. So statistically, it's rare to have a defined heart center. Only about, like they say, like 37% of people have this center defined. So only 37% of people have that iron will, right? They have the potential to move mountains. They have consistent willpower and consistent courage. I have a defined heart center. Okay. And I know this so much about myself. This is why no matter how hard my journey has been, have you guys seen me leave? I've been here the whole time and I'm not going anywhere. I am very iron-willed. Okay. And a lot of it has to do with my purpose and my cross and how it's connected to different, like it's once we go deeper into the program, you're going to be like, oh my God, this is so crazy. So people who have defined heart centers, let me know who here is defined. Alexander, defined, open. Okay, awesome. So defined, you guys are consistently doing it. I say I'm going to do it. I'm going to do it. You have willpower and courage. So I have a defined heart center. And so we have a lot of strong will and determination. We are very naturally driven to our ambition. No matter how hard it gets, we keep going. Okay. I have like a whole module that I can talk about this. It's really important. If you have a defined heart center, it's truly a gift, because every time someone's in your aura, they take on your willpower. It's a gift because we are so committed. We put our whole heart in it. Will people with a defined heart center, you will notice that, like, if you decided to start practicing for a marathon or to go running every morning, it's easy for you to do that. Like, even if it's raining, snowing, icy, you're doing it. You just will, because you're willful. Okay. And part of a defined heart center, part of our self-esteem is really keep promises to yourself. You have to keep promises to yourself. And this is all about the ego. And so we never want to get in competition with other people. We want to always compete with ourselves. I always say, I look myself in the mirror. The only person I'm competing with is myself. When I'm working out and stuff like that, it's me being better than I was yesterday. So competing with yourself is really, really important. So you don't compete with other people. And it's really important part of your self-esteem to keep promises to yourself. You know, a lot of really powerful leaders, and it doesn't mean you can't be a powerful leader. So many powerful people who are undefined, okay? But there are a lot of really powerful leaders like Winston Churchill, Donald Trump, Tony Robbins, like Dalai Lama, like they have a defined heart center, but it makes sense for part of their purpose. It doesn't matter how hard how tough things get. We can see what's going on with like Donald Trump, for instance, like Winston Churchill, like they are so willful. Like if they say they're going to do something, they're going to do something because they put their heart in it all the way. And they're very bold. People who define heart center are very bold. They're bold enough to convince other people to rise. They're excellent at handling crises. Okay. And every single time people come into our aura, people who are defined, like you guys amplify the willpower, right? We empower people. An important requirement for someone with a defined heart is you got to rest and you got to chill. Okay. You got to go on vacations, because we can actually end up with a lot of heart issues. The heart is attached to the heart. Okay. Yes. Thank you, sister. I'm so happy. I'm open. I'm defined here, Michelle. Keep promises and take ourselves seriously. Yes. And compete with yourself. So who is undefined? Undefined, let me know. So I saw some people here. So Heather says she's open. Jennifer says she's open. So undefined heart centers. If you have to hop off, I know it's a little bit of a long training. I wanted to do like a full transmission today. There will be a replay. We'll send it out later. So if you have to hop off, I love you. Okay. So undefined heart centers. So if you have an undefined heart center, you don't have that consistent willpower. So let me know in the comments, if you're open in your heart, do you sometimes struggle with discipline, no matter what, staying on a diet, running every single morning, going to work out every day, posting in your business every day? This is only because you don't have consistent willpower. But it doesn't mean you guys don't get shit done. There are so many powerful, incredible, like you just Google famous people who have undefined hearts, you'll find them. They're everywhere too, right? It doesn't mean that you don't have willpower. It's just inconsistent. It comes and goes, and it depends really whose aura you're in, right? Me and Athena are the only people in our family that have a willpower. And so everybody in our family here, though, when they're with us in our aura, they have willpower to get shit done, right? So we are like a gift, but it's also amazing not to be here too, because you guys are not here to prove anything. So defined heart centers, we're here to prove things. We really are. And undefined heart centers, you're not here to prove anything. So just relax if you're not always disciplined. And there's different strategies to figure out how to be more committed. If you have an undefined heart center, like it's so important that you follow your strategy and you only make commitments that truly align with your authority and strategy, because you will have willpower to accomplish things if you're doing the things that light you up. The issue is if you're undefined and you commit to things and you didn't do it through your right strategy and authority, this is where you guys have heart issues. This is where you guys shit all over yourself. This is where you guys burn out. You are not here to prove anything, not to yourself, not to anybody else. So stop feeling like, why does she is so disciplined and I'm not? You're not here to prove anything. So just let that go. You're not here to get in competitions with anybody. Okay, this is all conditioning. from other people. This is the whole society gets conditioned this way, if you guys already know this, but you don't have to prove anything to yourself. You don't have to prove anything with your action. Remember this, your value in society is not based on how much you do, okay? And you have a lot of flexibility to guide a lot of people to the life that they want because you can actually just access your truth. Open centers have the deepest wisdom. And your open heart makes you wise about what's actually truly valuable in life. Because you're not here to prove anything, you're wise about what's actually valuable in life and what to do and what not to do. You do not need willpower to get things done, but you got to use your correct strategy and authority to enter the right commitments. If you enter commitments, you didn't follow your correct strategy and authority, then you're going to burn out. Then you're going to find yourself shooting all over yourself. That's because mostly society conditions us that we just got to go do it. And you got to force yourself to do things that are not aligned with you. No, you don't. You get to put it down. You're not here to prove anything. Yes, yes, yes. Okay, I'm loving it. You guys are loving this. Okay, awesome. But when you guys hooked up with me, I help you get with the willpower. Okay, a lot of my clients hook up with me and they get things done and break a lot of personal limits because they get into my aura, which is powerful. This is why Tony Robbins, if you guys notice, how does he get people to walk on fire? His defined heart center. People are in his aura, they amplify, and then they have the willpower to walk over the coals. Super, super cool, right? So let's dive into another really important, they're all important, but this one's really important. Let's talk about emotions. Let's talk about the emotional solar plexus. So on the body graph, you guys will see it's a large triangle on the far right. This is associated with your kidneys and your pancreas. Okay. And of course, as it implies by the title, this is all about your emotions. So let's start with the undefined emotional solar plexus. Who's open? I'm open. I am open. I have an open emotional solar plexus, and half of the planet does. Half the planet is defined, half the planet is undefined. Emotionally open people are here to learn about other people's emotional energy. Undefined emotional energies, guys, when we're alone, we're calm, we're grounded. If you're open in your emotions and you're going through a lot of emotions, you're picking up on other people's stuff, because actually when you're alone, you're supposed to be calm and grounded. We're wise about feelings. Open emotional solar plexus, we're the empaths of the world. Okay. And when you're open and someone with their defined emotion comes into your aura, it will trigger emotions in you. You will take on their emotions, which can be a gift and also a curse, because actually the person who takes on the defined emotions amplifies it even more. So we actually end up having even more rage than the person that's defined, which is really wild, right? As a coach, as a mentor, as a parent, I love this gift. It's an amazing gift because it helps me to really understand my clients, because I can feel their emotions. I can understand my loved ones on a deep level because I can feel their emotional states. Really, really powerful gift. I'm open, Sherry and Melissa. Of course, I'm open. Of course, I see a lot of cool coaches. Doesn't matter. You can still be a coach if you're not open. I'm just saying this helps a lot. I have a defined closed solar plexus. Okay, amazing. Yes, it is the far right when you're looking at the chart. Yes. Anybody else? If you want to highlight and circle the emotional solar plexus and post in the comments for Maria, that would be helpful. If you go on my group though, you'll see it in there. It's already labeled as well. So, this is really powerful and really hard. I feel like this is why I teach emotional intelligence a lot since I started my journey. So people's negative emotions that come from a defined person into an undefined aura, like it flows into our center and we amplify it. We find a lot, this is why a lot of people have to find a lot of coping mechanisms. And people who are open, you guys tend to want to avoid confrontation at all costs because we just want to be chill. Okay. I just want to be chill. We're also very overly nice because we just don't want people's emotions to erupt and us to take them in and amplify them. Just hopped on Costa Rica, like, I love you. Good morning. Good morning. Hello, Theodora. Okay. So if you are emotionally open, your emotional solar plexus is open. Be so conscious of this. Our world has so many conflicting ideas about emotions. There's so much misinformation. And this is why I teach emotional intelligence so much, but you need to be so conscious if you're open, because you're like literally what you need to be is an emotional screen, which means people filter their emotions through you and not be a sponge. A lot of us become sponges and we think we are our emotions and we think there's something wrong with us when there's nothing wrong with us. Okay. You need to allow yourself to feel emotions when people come in your aura and not make them your own. You're not your emotions ever anyways. If you're feeling really bad and you're an open emotional solar plexus, check in. Who did you just spend time with? Who's in your aura right now that's defined? Because you're actually meant to be calm and chill, not very emotional. And so it's important you take breaks, and it's important that you leave rooms when you're feeling very, very intense in your emotions. It's not you, it's the defined person. Well, I identify with an open solar plexus, so I'm eager to see if I am. Okay, good. So who here is defined in their emotional solar plexus? Who's defined? So half the world is defined and half the world is undefined. If you are defined, that means that your first authority is your emotions. This is why we tell people with emotional authorities, you do not make decisions in your highs and in your lows. So I love you define emotional solar plexus, but you guys got to be so responsible with your emotions, because your moods affect other people. You trigger emotions in people. You are meant to be super emotional. You are always riding a wave in life. You carry emotions all the time. Define emotional solar plex people, you carry emotions all the time. And depending on where your emotion connects and what gates are defined tells us even more about the kinds of emotions that you're meant to experience. And this is going to help for you a lot to really know why you experience certain things, depending on your gates and your channels. Okay. So something that's really important is that a lot of emotionally defined people think that they should probably be on some pharma drugs because they feel like they get depressed a lot. Sometimes you wake up and you're super high. Sometimes you think you're bipolar. And I know 2 of my kids are emotionally defined. And I know like one of them has told me people should tell them that they thought they were bipolar. And it's funny, before I even knew that they were defined, I was like, no, this is just garbage. This is emotional intelligence. And I taught this person emotional intelligence, which has helped them a lot. And now that we have this understanding that they're defined, it has helped them navigate life even better. You're meant to be emotional. It's who you are. You ride waves. You're up and down. It's who you are. You carry emotion around. Okay. Sometimes you think you're depressed, and so you will look for reasons of why you're depressed, but you're not your emotions. This is so important to learn emotional intelligence. You're never, ever your emotions. You're riding a wave. It's normal. It's who you are. Don't judge it. Don't judge it. When you feel really high and then you feel really low, it's okay. That's who you're supposed to be. You're supposed to have emotional waves. But emotions, it's crazy that I have so many programs and so many modules that talk about stuff like this. And I didn't even know that I was channeling something that was so powerful for human design. But for those of you who are emotional, you guys have a lot of creative energy. Okay, you only think that you're depressed because society tells you that your negative emotions are bad, but they're not bad. You're just meant to feel, they just feel bad, but you're meant to feel them. Okay. I would recommend, if you ever want to do emotional intelligence work with me, Goddess Code, Energetic Mastery, or Self-Mastery. Goddess Code's only for women, but you can do Energetic Mastery or Self-Mastery, teach emotional intelligence there, because you're not your emotions, but your emotionally defined center actually gives you a lot of creative energy. Have you guys noticed some of the best hit songs, the best art, some of the best scripts and movies of all time, and paintings, and think about Adele, the music she creates, they were created in a state of turmoil and sadness and rage. Some of the best art in the world, the music you guys love the most, the books, the movies were created from a state of emotions. Emotions have a lot of creative energy. And so it's okay. It's part of who you are. You're not bipolar. You're not depressed. Okay. And for those of you who are I'm undefined and I always feel like I've had my whole life, I was emotional. If you grew up in a house and you were undefined, and you were surrounded by a lot of defined emotionally solar plexus people, like your parents were, you always felt like you had a lot of emotions. Why? Because the open center takes it and amplifies it. So you actually end up being the more emotional one because you're taking in everybody's definition. It's so wild to realize this. And I'm like, oh my God, it makes so much sense. Why did nobody tell me this before? I would have loved my life. Yes, this is so interesting to see this. My son is so creative and he's defined. He's the best when he does art. Yes. Oh, I love this. Yes, to all this 10-year roller coaster self-healing. Yes, yes, yes. Suppressed emotion for so long. Oh my God, I'm so happy. I'm so happy. You guys are loving this. Okay. So what happens? Oh, so just something you guys should know. For those of you who have defined emotional solar plexus, like you still have to follow your strategy, but you need to not ever make decisions until you have more neutrality in your emotions, more clarity, okay? Because a lot of you tend to make a lot of decisions when you're super hypermanic or super, super low or super, super angry, and then you end up regretting all your decisions. So we want to become more neutral and be more clear in our emotions, and then follow our right strategy and authority. Okay. Love this. I'm so, so happy. Feel the need to share it with people, tell the world this is going to change the world. Let's bring this into the school systems. Okay. Let's plant the seeds out there. Okay. So what happens when an undefined and a defined emotional solar plexus come together? Well, you guys already know the defined emotional person will impact and trigger emotion in the undefined, and the undefined amplifies it. And so it's wild, but the person who takes it in actually amplifies it even more and actually has more intense emotions. And I've seen this happen so many times. Like, for instance, even this is so wild. So if you're a parent and you have emotionally defined kids and you're open, sometimes they'll walk in a room and all of a sudden you can start bickering with your husband because your child is riding a wave and now triggered emotions in you and your partner. Me and Adam have been sitting together, having a nice coffee, chit-chatting, and one of our defined emotional children has come into our aura and they're riding a low, and all of a sudden we start getting annoyed with each other. It's such a wild phenomenon. And if you start paying attention to this, you're going to see. And why is awareness important? Because sometimes you think that you're mad at your partner or you're getting annoyed with your partner, but really someone just walked through the room and decided to broadcast their emotional wave, which you took on, which you started thinking, oh, I feel this way, and you're making me feel this way. Again, emotional intelligence will change your freaking life, right? So human design is amazing. Like, it teaches us so much about energetics. And so excited for those of you who are going to do this program with me, because it's going to blow your freaking mind, okay? And give you all these other codes and your purpose, and it's going to be fun. I love this. I'm so happy. Hello, Johnson. Okay, so let's move into the root center. So the very, very bottom of the bottle graph is a big square. At the very bottom, it's the root center. Who here is defined and who's undefined? Okay, so the root center always feels like under pressure. I am open in my root center and I always feel under pressure to be free. Okay, like all the time. And every time I'm with someone who has a defined root center, I feel like I need to do something. It's so wild that starts to happen when you guys understand this. So in the root center, this is where the adrenaline is. And this is the energy that sprints us into action to get rid of pressure. If you're open in your root center, you feel pressure. You feel pressure all the time, and you have a hard time relaxing unless your work is done. I cannot relax unless my shit is done, okay? Like, at all. If I have things done, I can't sit down, no matter how much people tell me to relax, until I get things done, because my open root center is under pressure and I have to get things done. Undefined, defined, Deanna's undefined. Okay, something I've been working on, undefined root. Yes, okay, right? So affirmations for undefined root. I can relax even if I still have lots of things to do. And you can say this affirmation over and over and breathe. But I always suggest, this is why I probably used to teach this a lot, but eat the frog first. If you're an undefined root center, like, get your shit done in the morning, get these things done in the morning so that you're not feeling pressure. Because I have found Like I literally run into things and I hurt myself a lot because I'm like under pressure and I gotta be free. I gotta be free from the pressure. Okay. This is adrenaline. So who is defined in the root center? Okay. So if you're defined in your root center, you have a fixed way to process adrenaline, but it's not on all the time. Actually, the root center pulses. But you have a fixed way to really process stress and adrenaline. Okay. You're actually immune to adrenaline. And it doesn't mean that you guys don't experience stress, but you don't feel the pressure to get things done like someone who has an open root. You guys can actually be calm and you can thrive on adrenaline, and you're really great at being in chaotic situations. You're good at risk taking. You're very spontaneous. You don't feel the stress and pressure from anyone else to do things. So if you're at work, like deadlines don't really make you feel stress. You can ride adrenaline, and you're probably the one, if you have a defined route, you're probably the one that creates deadlines because you set your own flow and then you end up delegating things to people. So open root centers and defined root centers, this can create some issues in our relationships. And again, awareness is going to be so important here because, for instance, me and Adam, I'm an open root, he's a defined root. When I'm with him, I feel like I got pressure to do things right now and get rid of it. And he's always like, why do you make me feel like I give you pressure? And then we had this understanding and was like, whoa, okay, this is what's happening in a relationship. Defined root, yes, LOL, yes, I wish I had the pressure feeling sometimes. Oh my gosh, right? So when an undefined root is hanging out and a defined root center person comes into your aura, it literally makes you feel like you have all these expectations on you and you feel like literally you can't live up to them and you feel like you got to get rid of it. Like even when I'm making like I'm cooking dinner, I'm like start chopping at him. I was like, what's going on? I'm like, oh my God, I don't know. I'm feeling pressure right now. There's just expectations on me. Why are you doing this to me? But it's not him. It's his root center impacting my undefined root center. Okay. So I'm not consistent in that and really holding that adrenaline. Right. So if I didn't know what I knew right now, I would always think that Adam had all these expectations on me and I would feel like I'm always under pressure. And now I simply know not to take any of this personally. It's all energetic. This is why I love human design, because we take so many things personally by other people and we project a lot of crap on people we love when really they're not doing anything. It's their invisible centers impacting your undefined centers. And this is why we feel so weird about people. Right? So check with your partner. If you're undefined, do you feel like there's a lot of expectation? Do you feel like you got a lot of pressure? Under pressure, right? Yes, absolutely. I'm defined, but I do feel pressure. Yes. But the root center pulses. So you're not always like that, right? Be aware. Be aware, because a lot of defined root center people feel hurt because they feel like you tell them, why are you pressuring so much? And they're like, I'm not, but you are, but I'm not. And this is what happens. Okay. This is why this is so helpful for relationships and with your clients too. Right. So we have two more things to get through here. And then I'm going to wrap this up in a beautiful bow. I know this is a longer transmission, but you guys can go back and re-listen to it. I'm not going to take it down. So you have lots of time to go back and take notes, and please share how you experiment with this stuff. Okay. So the spleen is the really large triangle that's located on the left side of your body graph. The spleen is the center for our intuition and our instinct and our fears. And this is, it's so cool. Depending on where your gates are defining your spleen, there's a reason why some of you have weird fears about the future and the past and mistakes. And a lot of them are outdated because our body still kind of lives in, like, we're living in the jungle and like the tigers are coming for us. Like we're still in that. So this is such an awesome center if you're an entrepreneur to really see why you have certain fears and why they're not real. This will free you a lot to understand this actually. So the spleen is the center of intuition. It's the center of our awareness of time, instinct, it's fear. It is correlated to the immune system and lymph nodes. The center is very primal, and there's a lot of beneficial fears, but there's also a lot of not good fears. Good fears are like, I probably shouldn't go in the dark cave. in the wilderness because there could be a bear, right? But a lot of the fears are not real, and we get hijacked a lot with fears. If you have a lot of gates defined in your spleen, open or not open, you are prone to a lot of different fears. And I'm telling you, a lot of them are not beneficial, and they're holding you back. But we're going to deep dive into this in the Human Design Center because we don't have 5 hours to go through this. It's not going to take that long, but you know what I mean? I'm going to get through the centers here with you guys, but this is going to be huge in helping you really see, oh my God, this is why I have these fears. This is why I'm being held back. This is real and this is not. We can finally free ourselves from the fears that are really holding us back. Human Design program is launching tomorrow and it's going to change your life. Okay. More on that there, but you can go and do your own research, right? Experiment with this stuff. So who here is undefined in their spleen? Who's open in their spleen? So I have a defined spleen, but for those of you who are open in your spleen, you have sensitive immune systems. So this is very connected to the immune system. Yes, absolutely. So important. Our health, mine is defined, open spleen with gates 51 and 21. Okay. So people who are open in their spleen, you guys have very sensitive immune system. You're the type of people that literally you could have a vitamin and it will like do weird things. Like it will throw you off. You guys have more food sensitivities. You have a lower tolerance for recreational drugs, for alcohol. You're so sensitive to little subtle changes in your body. People with open spleens also don't have consistent access to their intuition, which is also linked to like the feel good energy. And so you guys have to be very careful because I know I talk a lot about oxytocin, but you guys also get very addicted to people with defined spleens because when you're in their aura, you take on the feel good energy of the spleen. And it helps you tap into your intuition. This is why, again, it's actually important to hook up with certain auras to help us with our intuitions. People with open spleens, you guys have a hard time letting things go. You guys tend to get into a lot of addictions in relationships, other addictions to cope. Again, like in relationships, if your partner is a defined spleen and you kind of know there's red flags, but you keep going back, you're addicted to their feel-good energy. I'm a Cancer patient, and cancer in my lymph nodes, spleens enlarged. I've been doing so much work to clean it up. Oh gosh. Hello, Katie. This is so good. I'm so happy. Yes. And like in the Human Design program, I'm going to go deeper into it and your health issues and everything that's throwing you off, right? And there's just start bringing awareness. Where am I open? What organ is it connected to? Where am I taking out a lot of conditioning? So this is so radical, this stuff. Okay. So open spleens, because you guys don't have consistent access to your intuition, it is going to be really beneficial to be hooked up with someone who has a defined spleen. So here's another issue with open spleens. You guys just don't have the best understanding of time. You guys are either chronically late or you're really early because you've had a lot of people tell you you're always late and you've had some trauma around the time stuff. And now you're like, I need to be on time like an hour before. But a lot of you guys don't have a good sense of time. You're the type of people, like Adam is a defined spleen, I'm a defined spleen, but let's say Adam was undefined and he was to call me and tell me, hey babe, I'm gonna be home in like a half an hour, I'm gonna go here, here, here. I already know you're not gonna be home in half an hour because you have an open spleen and your awareness of time is not the best. You're probably going to be late. If you have kids with open spleens, let me know, are they the ones that are chronically late? So we have a kid in our house that has an open spleen, and this person is the only one with an open spleen. They have the most issues with their immune system. They're always sick. They're always going to the hospital. You know, now that we know this, we're working on, they have food intolerances. Like every time they take a vitamin, they feel really off, right? They also don't have a good sense of time. They're usually late. And a parent that has a defined spleen tends to get really annoyed with a child with an undefined spleen. It's like, why can't you be on time? Why can't you take this vitamin? Why can't you eat healthy? It drives you crazy, but have this understanding. It's not them. It's their open spleen and they're very sensitive in their immune system. Okay. So there's ways to work around this, but open spleens, like you guys do need to hook up with a defined spleen to really access your intuition. Doesn't mean you can't access, but it will help you with that as well. Yep. Same here, open spleen. Okay, this is so good, Alina. Okay, I'm so happy you guys are loving this. Okay. So yes, who here is defined? Let me know my defined spleen people. I have a defined spleen, so I have consistent access to my intuition. I have a very strong immune system, but here's the issue. Because people with like defined spleens, we have a really strong immune system. We're the type that we don't even catch when we start getting sick. Have you ever noticed that like you just end up being so sick because you literally don't notice the subtle changes of when you start getting sick? We don't see the first signs. So something to bring awareness is like, check in with your body. How are you really feeling? Are people feeling like you're sounding off because we don't catch it? People, like I find people have told me like, oh, your voice is starting to go. And I'm like, oh yeah, it is starting to go. And I don't even bring awareness to it until someone tells me. So it's important to check in with your body, because we could easily go from like feeling like we're okay, but then we're really, really sick because we have such a strong immune system. We don't notice their subtle changes like someone with an open spleen. Defined. Okay. One of the struggles with a defined spleen is those fears, okay? A lot of those fears, and if you have a lot of gates activated here, sometimes you think things are real and they're not. And this is where we're gonna go deeper into this in the program, because there's a lot of fears that are holding you back and you need to push forward. And there's a lot of fears that we still take on from like the beginning of humankind that are not real at all. Nobody's chasing you, no saber tooth is coming, but sometimes we feel like that. Okay, so when it comes to fear, highly recommend, again, learning your strategy and authority so that you can really decide, is this the correct thing for me to do, or is this fear real? Really trust your intuition. So again, I think I said this again, if a defined spleen and an undefined spleen come together, there's two issues that could happen in a relationship. One is going to be to do with connection, and the other one has to do with timing. Again, the undefined spleen, they don't have a fluid sense of time, okay? Like they just can't plan things accordingly. Like I could literally be getting go do my hair and I can already look at the clock and know what time it is. I have such an amazing sense of time. I'm very present. Defined spleens, we are in the now, okay? But undefined spleens, like you guys are going to get very frustrated with them because they don't have a good sense of time. They cannot plan accordingly. So compassion and love. If they say they're going to be 20 minutes and you know they're undefined, you very well know they're going to probably be longer. Okay. And it's easy to get really frustrated with them, but they just don't have a great sense of time. So just notice this, because I know a lot of parents get very mad at those open spleen teenagers and kids. It's not their fault. Okay. The other thing is the connection part. So defined spleens, we have access to this feel good energy, and undefined spleens, undefined spleen centers, they can get very clingy to us. They can get very clingy to a defined spleen. And you will notice this if you have a baby or a child or a toddler. Like think about your kids. If your kids are older, which kid was the one that was really clingy, that needed mommy all the time, and they didn't want to be separated? Most likely because you're a defined spleen and they were an undefined spleen. So again, be patient here. And to note, for those of you in a relationship, if you're undefined in your spleen and you're in a relationship and you know there are red flags and you keep going back to that partner, you're addicted to the good feel energy. Okay. Follow your strategy and authority. Okay. This is really, really important. I'm so happy you guys are loving all this. Yes, yes, yes. Okay. Let's dive into the last center. And I'm going to talk a little bit more about electromagnetics. Okay. The sacrals. All right. Who has a defined sacral? Actually, we'll start with undefined, but sacrals, you already know if you're a generator type, a generator or a manifesting generator, you guys are the only types that have a defined sacral. This is an important motor center. It's the workforce center. It's the do energy. It's the life force energy. It's also associated with the reproductive organs, right? So this is the money, sex, power area. Who here is undefined? Let me know who is undefined in their sacral. So if you're undefined, which means you're most likely, obviously, a reflector, a projector, a manifester. You guys are here to be wise about work and sexual energy. You are not here to maintain a high level of working energy. You are not meant to be working the 9 to 5, Monday to Friday, okay? You guys are the non-energy types. You guys are more effective working a 4-hour shift, okay? Or delegating to people. And this is where our society needs to change, because a lot of people who are non-sacral energy, so projectors, manifestors, reflectors, like you guys are the ones that end up like burning out by the time you're 40, because we're in a hustle culture and you're not meant to hustle. You're more efficient. You're more here to guide and lead and to delegate things. You're not here to run the marathons and go, 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 okay? Projectors, manifestors, and reflectors, like in your business, this is where you need a team. This is where you need to delegate more. And yeah, you guys are not meant to be in hard labor environments and working a 9 to 5 in the traditional sense. You work, you still get shit done. You guys actually can get done more, especially if you're in a sacral energy aura. You can amplify that energy and you can get something done even faster than someone's sacral, but you're not here to go, go, go. You work, but you're more flexible, okay? And you need more rest. In our society, we live in a hustle culture. And if you're undefined, like, and you're trying to constantly keep up with generators and manifesting generators, you're going to crash. There's a lot of conditioning here that happens. Defined, undefined, sacral, open, truth. Okay. Right. And so you guys got to know too, this is where our society needs to change a lot, is that the value of a person is not dependent on how much they work. Okay. Like that, this has to shift, because our poor non-energy types, we're like, they're literally dying trying to keep up with us. They're not here to sustain energy for labor. They're meant to work more in a more efficient way. And you got to stop judging for the sacral energy. So manifesting generators and generators, you got to stop judging our non-sacral energy types. They're not lazy. They need naps. It's essential to their survival, okay? And they're amazing gifts to the world if we let them take their naps, okay? If you have a child that's a projector, manifestor, and reflector, they're not lazy. Let them have their naps. They need more downtime. It's part of their health and their survival on the planet. They're just here to work for short bursts of time, and that's it. If you're a non-sacral energy type, you also, it's pivotal that you take complete alone time, so you remove excess sacral energy that you pick up from sacral energy types. It's like, what is it, like 70% of the population has defined sacral energy. So you guys walk out in the world and you're always picking up all the sacral energy. You're here to amplify it, work a bit, and then you got to remove it out of your system. You need naps. You need to go to bed before you're tired. You need to have alone time to stay really, really healthy. If you have a partner that's a defined sacral type and you're a non-defined sacral type, you might want to have a conversation about once a week or every couple of weeks or something, you sleep in a different room. I know this is huge. I don't do this with my partner, but when Adam naps, he naps at a different location of the house completely away, so he can remove all that excess sacral energy from me and our 3 generator type daughters, right? So this is a conversation you have with your partner, you know? So define sacral energy types. Let me know who's a defined. I'm a manifesting generator, okay? So all generators and manifesting generators have a defined sacral energy. You guys are here to do work. And it's imperative though, because a lot of people can abuse and use a sacral energy types to do all their work because they know we have a lot of energy, but it's so important that you guys do the right work that's correct for you. Again, this is why you guys have to respond to things that really light your gut up, okay? Or you end up working and shitting all over yourself until you get frustrated, and we burn out too. Sacral energy types are here to do the correct work, the work that lights their soul up. The more passionate and lit up you are, the more energy you actually create and keep going. Wait for the right things to show up for you. Okay, go back to the first training so you really understand this. Define sacral gen, define, hello. Okay, something that's important is because we have a lot of life force energy, we have to burn it out every single day, guys. You guys got to work out. You got to move your body. You got to do. So that at the end of the night, you put your feet up and you're like, that's how you know you're going to get a good sleep. If you cannot sleep at night and you have a defined sacral energy, it's because you have not had enough physical activity during the day. Generators and manifesting generators, you have to burn out your sacrals or you will be up all night. Then you start to get all these sleep issues. And then guess what happens? You get ADD or the ADHD. Okay. So I feel like if you have children and your kids are on any kind of medication, I really highly recommend that you should probably first check if they have a sacral and probably check their brain, because obviously I'm not giving you advice here, medical advice, but I believe that a lot of people are on a lot of pills that they should not be on because they're not living the correct strategy. And I also believe that before you put people on pills, you probably take their brain, make sure there's no issues with the brain or hormones. And if there isn't, then I would look at the people. So if you have a child and you feel like they might have ADD or ADHD, I would look at if they have a sacral and if they're getting enough physical fitness, physical activity. If a child that has a defined sacral, so again, manifesting generators or generators, if a child does not use up and have a lot of physical activity during their day, and this happens to adults too, they will not sleep good at night. And when they don't sleep good at night for prolonged periods of time, it creates ADHD and ADD. Okay, because when they can't sleep at night, what happens with sleep deprivation? Sleep deprivation messes with serotonin levels. They start to dip. When serotonin levels start to dip, what happens? You can't focus. Symptoms of low serotonin levels are lack of focus, irritability, and low self-esteem. So these symptoms mimic ADD and ADHD. I have 3 generator type kids, Thena, Ray, and Stella. All the girls in our family are either manifesting generators or generators, and they have to have a lot of physical exercise. I have helped some clients that wanted to come for human design training with me, and I've helped friends who've been on certain drugs finally figure out that they have a sacral and they realize I don't get enough physical activity in my day. And once I do, actually even children, if you start giving a lot of physical activity, after 3 weeks, you'll notice they'll start sleeping better, serotonin levels will improve, and you will notice that literally the ADD and the ADHD will go away. Adults, this is the same thing for you. This is why you guys see me all the time, work out every day. And I still go for a walk and I'm moving around because I have a lot of sacral energy. I need to burn it out. If I'm not tired and putting my feet up at the end of the night, I'm not going to get a good sleep. So, not giving you medical advice, but hey, I'm all about the holistic and, the right way here, authentic life. So try this on. I agree. Can't wait to come back from a replay. Me too, Bernie. Yes, since I heard you say this, I have added more physical exercise and I'm starting to sleep and feel better. Oh, I'm so happy. Thank you guys for tagging like cattle dogs. Yeah. And it's funny because it's like in human design, they'll say non-energy types are like the cats. That's why they just kind of chill. And manifesting generators and generators, we're like the puppies, the dogs. We're out there responding and sniffing and doing things. We're all over the place, right? It's normal for us. As long as you're getting a lot of physical exercise in your life, you will sleep good, serotonin levels will be good, and you won't have any of these ADD symptoms. Check your children, guys. Check your children, spread the word, okay? We don't need to be on pharma. Unless, again, I'm not giving you medical advice, okay? Go check your brain, check your hormones. All of this matters. But oh my God, if I've helped so many people just through their human design and just my understanding, and you guys know I talk so much about hormones, like just the basic holistic things can change your life. Every pill you take is creating another symptom. So just think about that. It's why people go on one pill, then another pill, and another pill. Like, we don't need that. As much as possible, get checked out. Try this on though. Check your generator, kids. Make sure they're burnt out. Get them going, get them going, get them going, okay? Define sacral energy. is also meant for sexual energy. A lot of the gates have sexual undertones. It's all about reproductive energy, okay? We like sex. Part of getting our physical activity out. It's good for you. Have some sex, okay? With the right person, okay? Defined sacral energy types, we are meant to have kids. Of course, non-energy type have kids too. So don't think that you can, just saying, but we are very designed to have kids because we have a lot of energy. We have the energy for the raising. We have the life force energy to provide to raise them. The sacral is the center of life force energy. It's also like the staying power center, right? So if you don't have much life force energy, you probably need a sacral partner to be raising a lot of kids. Otherwise, it's going to be hard. Non-sacral types, you guys connect with us, you guys amplify your energy, and you guys can go, 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 go. So that's what happens. When a defined sacral energy type gets together with an undefined sacral energy type, the non-defined will take on the sacral energy and amplify and have a lot of energy. Adam is a projector. He gets in my aura, and then also my heart activates in him, and he can do so much. I can propel him to get doing even more. We give them so much energy, but they're not designed to have this energy. So then they have to have alone time to really clear it all out. Okay. Non-sacral energy types, you're not really driven by sex, but once you're in a defined sacral type, you will get horny. Okay. We sacral energy types, we lead the bedroom. We do. And you will notice this with your partners. So undefined sacral energy types will really lead with the defined sacral energy type and amplify it. Okay. So defined sacral types, like you guys have a lot of life force energy. You got to use it every single day, get it all out. Okay. And love on your undefined people. They're not lazy. They need naps. They need to sleep. They need to get rid of all this excess. They're not meant to carry it. Okay. And it's true when you have a sacral and the more you're lit up, if you're a Manny Jen, the more you're going to get it, even more energy to do something. That's why it's important you do the correct work. Yes, so true. Yep, me and my partner are both sacral defined. We have a very healthy sex life. Yeah, you probably want to have sex every day, right? So normal, very, very normal. Okay. Okay, I'm gonna wrap this up, guys. But I want to tell you guys, if you're really interested in this work and you get overwhelmed with human design and you want me to break it down and you want to know what your purpose is, your gifts in life, how to have better relationship and how to manifest, because there's so many ways to manifest your human design. Tomorrow I'm going to be launching the graphic. So next level. It's the most creative thing we have ever created. I'm so excited for you guys to see it. And this is going to be a big program, but I'm going to go through everything, your gates, so that you can live an authentic, amazing life. Right now, it's on sale for $777, and you can do a 4-month payment plan. I'm going to go live once I launch the branding, and I will talk all about it. We are starting November 10th, and it's a lifetime access program. And for those of you who do this round, volume 1, you will automatically get volume 2. So there's going to be a really cool bonus. If you want a chance to win 50% off, share this video, share my graphic, tag me on social media, and you'll have a chance to win 50% off. 3 people will. Okay. We're going to do that draw, I think, on Wednesday. I'll put it in the events section. Okay. So I want to wrap a little bit more about the energetic hookups in people's auras. So I have talked a lot about how people impact us, but also what's really important, we're going to deepen this in the human design program, is that it's also really important that our gates and our channels hook up with certain people that really help our gifts come alive. So there's more than just like people, they influence us, but also we need to be influenced by certain people. If you have a gate activated and at the end of the channel, it's not activated, but your partner is, like, and you guys come together, there's more definition and electromagnetic energy that happens. So we are meant to be around people, and you guys know that. Humans are not meant to be alone. We're meant to hook up with different auras to activate more gifts and to bring more awareness and understanding of people. So again, just to wrap this up, defined energy centers. You guys have the ability to have consistent energy in those sections. You don't need other people's auras. Like if you're a defined sacral, you can go, right? But you guys are fixed. and have a consistent way of doing things. So if your mind and your head is defined, you have a certain way to think, as opposed to someone who's open. Undefined energy centers, like again, the parts of your graph that are white, you don't have consistent energy. You're more flexible. You're more open to conditioning and influence of people who are defined in those centers. So you gotta start bringing awareness to where you're open, right? It's true that definition does trump openness. And if you're defined, really defined, everywhere you go, you are impacting people who are open. But also on the flip side, because there's duality in everything, you're also empowering people. Like my defined heart, everywhere I go, or my clients, everybody who's in my aura, I can help you break through more limits than you ever could on your own. I empower people. If you're a manifestor or a manifesting generator, you have that initiation, you have that defined throat center. Anytime someone walks into your aura, you are automatically like empowering people. You're a walking gift, right? You help everybody win. The more definition you have, you also empower people, but you also influence people with your definition. So in all self-development, like step one of deconditioning thoughts, patterns, things that you feel like you're struggling in certain areas, because we have a lot of wounds in our open centers. Just start bringing awareness. I highly recommend after you do this, go look at your parents. If you can, go look at your kids, go look at your partners, who's been in your life, your boss, all the people that you spend a lot of time with. Notice where you're open, and notice where you're taking things on that don't feel good, that are not you, and start to get into the habit of being alone and really evaluating what's mine, what's not. Why am I thinking these thoughts? Why am I feeling these things? Why do I have these patterns? Oh, it's the conditioning happening in here. And where do I need to go into someone's aura so that I can activate certain gifts? So important. Just start experimenting. Again, go to day one, get a little recap. I'm going to go through everything again in the program, but deepen it. So every time we go in the centers, we're going to look at the gates and how this works with your energy type. Like it's going to be very thorough, but so digestible. I am not about complicating things. I want to make things easy and digestible. I feel like this system can really change the world, but it starts with you. Just go experiment with what you've learned today. Start bringing awareness and share in the group and share with me. I love listening to you guys. If you have already been in human design, share with the people. It's so life-changing if you start experimenting with it, but experiment on your own, see what works, what doesn't work. You don't have to take what I'm saying. Go experiment on your own. Be like, oh, I've noticed this. I noticed this. Perfect timing for me to dive into this. Yes. I'm so happy, right? So again, one thing I want to say with the undefined spleen, defined spleen, like look again, where am I addicted to people's feel good energy? Where do I get a sense of security from my partner? Really check in on that, right? A defined heart, okay? You can say something and just do it. An undefined heart doesn't necessarily have that privilege, but they're not here to prove anything. So let that go, right? If you're a coach and mentor and you have a defined heart, when your clients are around you, they will break through personal limits that they otherwise couldn't, right? You can help people with stuff like that. So empower people. Openness in your chart. Sometimes this is where you'll be the most overwhelmed and burnt out, but also it's a source of your wisdom. Like you have an open ajna again, you're a mind reader. If you have an open emotional solar plexus, you can feel what people are feeling. Because once they're out of your aura, you're supposed to be calm. Like a really great analogy for the defined emotional solar plexus and the undefined solar plexus is like, if you're undefined and all of a sudden you get into the aura of someone who's defined, they're going through an intense emotion. It's like walking into a storm, a rainy storm. And so what I love telling my clients is like, just go for a walk, get out of the aura of the defined person, and it will stop raining on you. Defined emotional solar plexus, something I want to say to you guys is that you guys have to be so responsible with your emotions. I highly recommend you do emotional intelligence work, because literally you guys trigger emotions in the undefined. When you're in a mood, you bring your mood to other people. And so we want to be responsible. It's not that people don't want to be around you, but we want to be responsible with where we're going when we're feeling a really, really low. like state, right? Because you will trigger people, right? And it will feel really, really heavy, people. And I have a lot of, like I said, like emotional, so open to solar plexus clients that tell me like, I thought I was the emotional one. And then they realized their family was full of defined emotional solar plexus. But you amplify it so much that you feel like you're the emotional one. Undefined emotional solar plexus, we're chill, we're pretty calm. If you're feeling very manic and depressed and all these things, it's because you're taking in other people's stuff. So look at that stuff, start bringing awareness. Where am I influencing and impacting people and triggering emotions in people? And where am I taking people's emotions that are not mine? If you have a defined head and your partner has an undefined head and they start telling you, I can't sleep at night, I have all these questions in my head. Yeah, maybe they should sleep alone for the night because you are plopping little ideas into their head. Like, I'm very grateful that Adam is also undefined in his head in ajna, so we have pretty good sleeps together without all these questions. But then little Noah and Rhea come in and it's like, I have all these emotions, right? So just look at this stuff, bring awareness. Awareness changes our lives. It changes our life, okay? Notice where you're open. So look at your chart today, notice, where do I have conditioning? Where am I picking things up? Then look at your partners, look at your kids, look at the people who are closest to you and notice where they're impacting you. This will change your life, and we can stop taking in people's stuff that's not ours. You know, like, it's so crazy. Even the Open G Center, like, and Stella will tell you, like, we had to take her to the hospital once because she was having liver issues. And I remember during that time, she was hanging with all these groups of people. And so her Open G Center was just like so not in alignment, but it's so crazy how it was so attached to the liver. They were telling her about her cell count. And I'm like, this is so freaking wild, right? So it will change your life. Yep, me and my partner are both sacred defined. Okay, I read that. Very interesting. Perfect timing for me. Okay, so tomorrow I'm going to be launching the graphic. I'm going to go live Wednesday, but if you wanted to have some details, we are opening the doors to this program November 10th. We're going to discover your purpose. We are going to explore your gifts. We are going to talk about your personality. One of my favorite things in human design is knowing your personality. Oh my God, it will just change your life. And your personality has so much to do with your gifts and your purpose. And so we can get on the right path and do what we're supposed to do, because we're all these beautiful, unique puzzle pieces that need to come together. And you're going to know deeper about, like, what kind of aura should I hook up with that will help activate more of my gates, and which aura should I not? So program is $777. You can do a 4-month payment plan. You guys will hear me talk about it. I'm going to go on a full launch with it. Stay tuned to the graphic. It's so, so good. I'm going to launch it tomorrow. Like I said, I'm going to go live. And in the meantime, go back and listen to this. Go back and listen to the first training I did. I will pin it to the top of my Facebook group. I will also put in the comments of this video if you want to go watch it. But if you just go to my YouTube channel, Alina Grayson, you will find the last uploaded video was day 4 unconventional success codes, and you can watch that and learn your energy type. There's also timestamps so you can listen to if you're a manifestor and so on. And on Wednesday also, once I go live promoting this program, I'll also do the draw. So 3 people have a chance to win 50% off. If you want a tuition draw from before, you can also DM me and we can apply it to the sale. And if you need a payment plan, everything will be also uploaded to the landing page. I didn't want to upload the landing page yet, so my sales page with all my links yet, because I want to share the graphic with you guys. It's so good. It's so good. Like, I'm so excited. It's so weird, but of course, my life just keeps getting weirder as a 6'2" in me. Okay, so I love you guys so much. Thank you for being here. Thank you for staying live with me. We've been talking for almost 2.5 hours, but it's so good. And I will do more trainings on human design as it comes. Right now, let's just stay with the energy centers and energy types, and I will roll out more things. But if you want to deepen this work, you want to find your purpose, your gifts, you want to be the best version of yourself, live the most happy, successful life, the human design program is going to start November 10th. And every module, we're going to have a big chunk. Then we're going to do a mastermind call. We're going to deepen it. You're going to have, it's live too. So you get to ask me questions. You get to click with other people and other auras, which will be really cool. And it will really change your life to live like this. But highly recommend. start experimenting with yourself. And you can obviously go read books and go online. If you want me to just riff it out in the most digestible way, this program will be for you. I don't like complicated things. I think people explain human design in a very complicated way. And I think a lot of people get overwhelmed, and it actually is pretty easy and simple once we start peeling back the layers. And it's kind of like my gift to take things and simplify them. Because seriously, people complicate too many things in this world. So if you're ready to meet yourself, you're ready to unleash your potential, the Human Design Program is going to start November 10th. Thank you for being here. If you feel like someone needs to hear this conversation, please share. I'm going to track everybody who shares and tags, and I will put a time and date for the draw, but it will be happening Wednesday. Time to be announced. Okay. Thank you, thank you, thank you. You're the best. I love you guys. This has been so good. I'm so excited about this. I can't wait to learn more. Oh, me too. If you are in my 1-year membership Inner Circle, you automatically have this program for free because you get everything that I have. So if you ever wanted to work with me for a full year and get access to all my programs for the price of what I think it's $297 a month USD. If you want to do a payment plan, or you can pay in full $3,333, you get all my programs. You get a lot of access to lifetime access things and mastermind calls. The Inner Circle membership is my 1-year membership. Get it all, which is going to save money on a lot of things. If you guys need work on emotional intelligence, Goddess Code, Energetic Mastery, and Self-Mastery, and you guys can jump into those. Those programs are so pivotal if you're a defined or undefined emotional solar plexus, because humanity, we struggle with emotions. And this is where a lot of health issues happen. Okay, I'm done talking. I need to go and drink some water, and I love you so much. Thank you again for everybody who is here. I've had so much fun. Let me know your takeaways. Please share, connect with each other, and yeah, stay tuned tomorrow. You guys, the graphic is so good. Okay, I'm done talking. I love you. I love you. I will see you guys in the next masterclass.